It was a beautiful, quiet afternoon in the neighborhood. Birds chirped in the trees, and the houses stood in perfect rows with green lawns and pristine driveways. It was the kind of place people dreamed of living in, peaceful, welcoming, and safe. At least, that's what Danielle and Chris Parker thought when they moved in. Danielle and Chris had worked hard for this life. Danielle was confident, friendly, and always believed in showing kindness. Her husband, Chris, was calm, thoughtful, and endlessly supportive. Together, they made the perfect team. Moving to this neighborhood was supposed to be their chance at a fresh start, in a place where everything seemed perfect. But little did they know, not everyone was happy about their arrival. Danielle adjusted the bow on the gift basket she was carrying. She had spent hours putting it together, a bottle of wine, some snacks, and a handwritten note. She wanted everything to be just right. "You think this is too much?" she asked Chris, her voice full of nervous energy. Chris laughed softly, shaking his head. "Danielle, you could have just brought cookies, but you went all out. It's nice. They're going to love it." Danielle smiled, trying to relax. She had always believed in making a good first impression. As they walked down the street toward their neighbor's house, her heels clicked softly on the pavement. She couldn't help but notice how quiet it was. Curtains shifted in windows. People peeked out only to quickly disappear when Danielle and Chris glanced their way. A dog barked sharply from one of the yards, breaking the stillness. "Are they staring at us?" Danielle whispered. Chris gave a small shrug. "Probably. It's a new neighborhood. People are curious," he said, though the tension in his voice told her he noticed it too. When they finally reached the door, Danielle hesitated for just a second. "Do you think this is a bad idea?" she asked, holding the basket a little tighter. Chris gave her a reassuring look. "Come on, Danielle. It's a good idea. Let's just say hi." Danielle nodded, taking a deep breath. She knocked gently on the door. The sound echoed louder than she expected through the quiet street. For a moment, there was nothing. Then, the door creaked open. A woman stood there, peeking out cautiously. She didn't smile or greet them. She just looked at them for a long moment. Danielle, always the friendly one, gave her best smile. "Hi, we're your new neighbors, Danielle and Chris Parker. We're just moving down the street and wanted to stop by and say hello." The woman blinked, her face blank. She didn't open the door any wider. Danielle's heart sank a little, but she kept smiling. Finally, the woman muttered, "Oh, E." Danielle held out the basket. "We brought you this. Just a little something to introduce ourselves." The woman hesitated before slowly opening the door wider. She reached out and took the basket. "Eric," she called over her shoulder. "The new neighbors are here." A man appeared behind her, tall and friendly, with a warm smile that immediately put Danielle at ease. "Welcome," he said, stepping forward and shaking both their hands. His handshake was firm, his smile genuine. "It's so nice to meet you both. Come in." Eric waved them inside. Danielle and Chris exchanged a quick glance before stepping through the door. The house was beautiful, polished wooden floors, large windows that let in plenty of light, and a cozy yet elegant feel. It felt like the kind of home you'd see in a magazine. "Make yourselves comfortable," Eric said, motioning toward the couch. Danielle and Chris sat down, smiling politely. Eric took a seat across from them, but the woman remained standing. "I'm Lisa," she finally said, crossing her arms. Her tone wasn't exactly rude, but it wasn't friendly either. Eric started asking questions, where they had moved from, how they liked the neighborhood so far. His tone was warm and welcoming, but Lisa stayed quiet, watching Danielle and Chris closely. Wanting to break the tension, Danielle complimented the home. "Your house is beautiful," she said with a genuine smile. "And the neighborhood is so quiet. We're really looking forward to living here." Lisa gave a tight-lipped smile, but didn't respond. After a few more minutes of polite conversation, Danielle decided to try something else. "Do you need any help in the kitchen?" she asked Lisa. "I'd love to give you a hand." Lisa hesitated before nodding. "Sure. I was just about to make some coffee," she said, her voice stiff. Danielle tried her best to brush off the strange tension in the house. Eric was friendly enough, but Lisa's icy demeanor lingered in the back of her mind. Still, Danielle reminded herself why she had come here, to build bridges, not to break them. She followed Lisa into the kitchen, hoping that helping her out might ease some of the awkwardness. The kitchen was stunning. White marble countertops, sleek stainless steel appliances, and everything so perfectly organized that it almost felt too perfect. "Your kitchen is amazing," Danielle said warmly, hoping to start conversation. Lisa barely glanced at her as she opened a cabinet. "Thanks," she muttered, her tone flat. She pulled out 2 mugs and placed them on the counter, her movements quick and almost robotic. Danielle smiled, trying to keep the mood light. Her eyes wandered to the counter, where something caught her attention. There, sitting in the soft glow of the kitchen lights, was a small golden box. It sparkled, its intricate design glinting beautifully. "Wow," Danielle said, pointing at the box. "That's gorgeous. Is it an heirloom?" Lisa froze. Her hand, which had been reaching for the coffee pot, stopped midair. For a moment, she didn't say anything. Then, slowly, she turned to look at the box. "It's special," she said, her voice sharp. Danielle blinked, surprised by the sudden change in Lisa's tone. "It's been in my family for years," Lisa added, her words clipped. She quickly grabbed the box and moved it to a cabinet, shutting the door firmly as if hiding it from view. Danielle felt a knot of tension form in her stomach. She hadn't meant to offend Lisa. "I'm sorry," she said quickly. "I didn't mean to pry. It's just so beautiful." Lisa didn't respond. Instead, she turned back to the coffee, her shoulders stiff. The air in the kitchen grew heavier, the silence stretching longer than it should have. Danielle cleared her throat, trying to shake off the unease. "Is there anything else I can help with?" she asked, her voice gentle. "No," Lisa said firmly. "I've got it." For a moment, Danielle just stood there, unsure what to do. She glanced back at the cabinet where Lisa had put the box, then turned and headed back to the living room. As Danielle left the kitchen, Lisa watched her go, her eyes narrowing slightly, her lips pressing into a thin line. Little did Danielle know, this was just the beginning of something much bigger, a moment that would test not only her character, but the very foundation of the neighborhood she and Chris had hoped to call home.